Could you please state your full name and your date and place of birth?
It's Fredrick Yoshihide Sasaki. I was born July 28, 1918 in Hiroshima, Japan.
Could you tell us a little bit about your parents?
Oh, my parents, my father came to Canada when he was 16 in the year 1907. And he told me that at that time, his mother was heartbroken when he left for Canada because she had lost a few of his brothers. They all died in their 30s, and she was. When he told me this, he always had tears in his eyes, and he was quite emotional about it when he told me.
And how old was he when he came?
He came here when he was 17.
And why did he come?
He came. He said he came because one day he had dreams of promoting trade between Canada and Japan, and that's why he came to Canada.
And he was the only sibling that came?
Yes, he was the only one that came. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And what about your mother?
Well, my mother was more or less their wedding was arranged quite early. The two families knew each other, and what I remember about my mother was she told me that she was quite athletic when she in her youth. At school, she entered a lot of the track events and that, and she always did well. Well, my father went back to Japan in 1917 to get married. They told her that to get married to my mother. And while I was there, while he was there, I was conceived, and my mother said, "Don't take the baby back. Don't go back until the baby is born." So my mother stayed back, and in 1919, when I was 9 months old, she brought me to Canada.
So the rest of your siblings were all born in Canada?
Yes, they're all born in Canada. Mm-hmm.
And so where did they settle?
My father settled in Vancouver. He told me that the year they came in 1907, it was quite an anti-Japanese feeling. And when he disembarked from the boat, that there were people at the pier throwing rocks at them. And he remembered that quite distinctly. And a few months later, gangs of they would raid the Japanese section, and they would be fights between the whites and the Japanese in Vancouver.
And what year would this be?
Oh, it was 1907, 1908 at that time. It's a very anti-Japanese feeling at that time. Because I read later on that 1907 was the year that there were quite a few immigrants came from Japan.
So if it was that difficult, was he able to find work?
No, he was very fortunate that he was taken in by the fire chief of Vancouver, and as a houseboy, he did little errands around the house, and he was allowed to go to learn English. And he told me that an Anglican priest befriended him and was very good to him and taught him English.